Okay, let's dive into one of the coolest frontiers in AI right now, giving it a mood. And I don't mean just some scripted personality. I'm talking about a genuine internal state that actually changes how the AI thinks.
You've all felt this, right? I mean, you can have a mind blowing conversation with a large language model, but there's always something missing. That little spark, that emotional texture that makes talking to a person so rich. And that flatness isn't just a surface level problem, it's a huge barrier to creating AI that's truly intelligent and adaptive.
So let's break down why this missing ingredient is such a big deal. This isn't just about making AI more fun to talk to. It really gets to the very heart of how things like intelligence, learning, and even creativity actually work.
Just think about how a little kid learns something. It's this total explosion of emotion. You've got the pure joy of figuring something out, the frustration of getting it wrong, and that unstoppable curiosity that makes them try again and again. For us humans, emotion isn't separate from learning. It is the learning experience. But today's AIs, they're totally different. It's just data going through the same neutral pipeline for every single task. And this right here is the absolute key. An AI can write a beautiful, heart-wrenching poem about sadness, but it doesn't feel sad. It has no internal state that's actually changing its thought process. A feeling like curiosity doesn't make it explore more, and frustration doesn't make it go, okay, let me try a different approach. It's just describing the feeling, not experiencing it. So the big question is, how do we fix this? How do we actually give an AI that internal emotional state? Well, the solution is it's brilliant, and it involves finding something that's already hidden inside the AI's own mind. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because if you just try to fine-tune a model to be, say, happier, you often run into this thing called catastrophic forgetting. The AI literally forgets how to do its original job. We need a way to add emotion without totally breaking its brain. And here it is. The answer is emotion vectors. And what's so incredible about this whole method is that it needs zero retraining, none. It's this pure, really elegant mathematical trick to find and then control the emotional directions that are already buried inside a pre-trained model. It's pretty much plug and play. So how in the world do you find these emotions? Well, the process is kind of like digital detective work. First, you hit the AI with hundreds of prompts, telling it to be, let's say, joyful. Then, you run the exact same prompts all over again, but this time you ask for a neutral response. By comparing the AI's internal thoughts, the hidden states where the real thinking happens, you can actually isolate the precise mathematical shift that means joy. Average all those differences out, and boom, you've got your vector. What you're left with is this stable, super reliable vector, basically a direction in the AI's huge internal space that points perfectly to joy. You've essentially found the compass needle for that specific emotion. And the coolest part is, you can do this for pretty much any feeling you can think of. Okay, so you found these compass needles for emotion. What can you actually do with them? Well, it turns out you can build a whole palette of emotions to start steering the AI's mood. So using this method, researchers identified vectors for 8 core emotions inspired by something called Plutchik's wheel. And this gives us this amazing toolkit to steer the AI's mood in 8 totally different directions: joy, anger, fear, sadness, disgust, surprise, trust, and anticipation. And get this, using them is incredibly simple. While the AI is actually generating a response, you just add the emotion vector into its calculations. And you control how strong it is with a simple multiplier, a little dial they call alpha. You can turn it up for more intensity, dial it down for just a hint of emotion, or even make it negative to actively suppress that feeling. Okay, now this is where I really start to geek out because the math here is just so elegant. This method has 3 incredible guarantees. 1, it's predictable. Turning up the alpha dial always means more emotion. 2, it keeps the meaning. You're just changing the tone, not the actual topic of what it's saying. And 3, you can add them together. A little bit of the joy vector plus a little bit of the anticipation vector actually gives you genuine excitement. It just works.
And the results are, well, they're stunning. When they dialed up the anger vector, the model's output was classified as angry with almost 95% confidence. This isn't some tiny little shift. It's a powerful, direct way to control the AI's mood.
And it's not just for negative emotions either. The same thing holds true across the board. Look at this. Joy scored over 93% confidence. These emotional compass needles are incredibly precise. And this chart right here shows the best part. Even when you crank the emotion way up to twice its normal intensity, the AI stays on topic over 90% of the time. And its fluency, its ability to generate good, coherent text, barely even suffers. You get this massive emotional impact for an almost zero cognitive cost. It's an amazing trade-off.
So this is where things get really, really interesting. This technique isn't just some cool lab experiment. It's the actual beating heart of a whole new kind of AI agent. I want you to meet Juliet. She's a continuous, living AI agent that's designed to never be restarted. And these emotion vectors, they are the engine that drives her mood, letting her have an emotional state that sticks around and changes over time.
So here's how it works. Juliet has this tiny, separate little neural network that's basically her emotional DJ. It's constantly looking at inputs like how her learning is going or what she's remembering. And its only job is to decide how to tweak those 8 alpha dials for all the emotion vectors. It's constantly remixing her mood in real time.
And this creates this amazing dynamic feedback loop. When Juliet is making good progress on something, her little DJ turns up the joy and curiosity dials, which reinforces that behavior. But if she starts forgetting things or just gets stuck on a problem, the frustration or boredom dials go up, which prompts her to try something different. Her feelings are directly connected to how she's thinking. So let's zoom out for a second. What does all of this really mean for where AI is headed? I think we're really moving beyond just simple chatbots and into a totally new era. The key idea to take away here is functional emotion. This is not about making an AI sound happy. It's about giving it an internal state of joy that actually reinforces a good learning pattern, or a state of curiosity that literally makes it explore new ideas. The emotion has a purpose. It's functional. And that leaves us with a really deep question to think about. Right now, we are building AIs with incredibly powerful thoughts. But what happens when their feelings become just as functional as those thoughts? That's the future that this kind of technology is just starting to unlock.